Hello, today we got to play Heat, Pedal to the Metal. So this is a racing game. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell because board games are amazing. And that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about Heat?
I can. Well, first of all, this is very hard to find. Most important thing. I lucked into getting it when it first hit the U.S. retail. And I'm glad I did because it sold out immediately. Got second shipment came in, it sold out immediately. None of our online retailers we check, you have it in stock right now. So if you can find it in stores, you're one of the lucky and few. This was a 2022 release. Board Game Geek rating is 8.2 on this one. And the rank is 85. So that tells you it's shot up to the top 100 right away. 1 to 6 player game, 30 to 60 minutes in length, age 10 and up. Designed, and I'm again going to have issues with pronouncing these names, and I apologize, Asger Harding Granerud and Daniels Yold Peterson. Art by Vincent Dutrait. And published by Days of Wonder, which I've always loved Days of Wonder as far as companies. They do outstanding quality in all of their games. I wish they weren't acquired by Asmodee, but I've always done outstanding quality. This one has an MSRP of $74.99, and it seems like most people are selling it for that. Card House has it for $74.99. Miniature Market actually has it listed for $59.99. Cheapest I saw it was Tabletop Merchant, and they have it for $58.99. Again, all of them are sold out.
Yeah, good luck finding them. All right, so let's talk about the quality of components. So we have these race cars. I'm sad that the wheels don't move. Yeah. I know this is stupid and like...
Oh, then they might roll to the next spot or something.
No, I understand. But I really wanted to go vroom vroom.
Well, you can go vroom vroom. You just have to go vroom vroom and push the car.
Yeah, it's not the same. But they did a really great job. It is even two-colored, so a lot of the times when you see these, they're single color.
And they put a little number on them on the front of them.
Yes, they do put a little number on, not just the front, but on the sides as well. So they did a good job with that. The card quality, there is a really nice linen finish on these. So overall done there. The actual board itself is really nice. The player mat.
Yeah, the player mat's a little lacking. It's more of just a card stock. There's actually two-sided boards on two boards. So there's 4 different
tracks that you can do. Now, and then also, at first you think that this is a standard, like, old school meeple. No, it actually is a stick shift.
Yes, that was really cool.
So they did a great job with that too. So, what they did, except for the player mat, they did really, really well. Yeah. But there isn't a lot of components. But
well, that's not true. There's a ton of expansion cards. And
that's true.
Cardboard. They have actually little spectators that you can put watching.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah, they got the weather tiles. And, yeah, I mean, you can play. They have 2 different rule books. We'll get to that when we talk about rules. But they have one to teach you the game quickly, and it's the base game. And then there's the advanced book, which actually has a lot of different variants of ways to play this game. So they made it versatile, and you can grow with it, and I like that.
So overall, quality of components, I'm good with a 7. I mean, there's nothing else like interesting, but what they did do really well.
I'm going to go 8 on it. I think, well, first of all, I think the board is really nice, and the fact that it's two-sided and it lays flat is really nice. You can flip it back and forth. The cars are outstanding. They're going to get your attention. I mean, yes, they're tiny, but they need to be to fit the track. And the stick shift, I thought, was a really clever idea.
I know, that was a really good idea.
So the card stock, you're going to want to sleeve these, but even then, it feels nice in the hand right now, and these are good, solid, sturdy cards. So I think it deserves an 8.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the theme. The theme's spot on.
Yeah.
It definitely, like, you draw 7 cards, you're almost like putting how fast you're going and whether you end up, but you may end up stalling out. the theme felt very well. Like I felt like you're racing. You are racing,
and you've got some of that risk. You don't know. You could spin out unexpectedly. The cards that throw in there.
The turns you have to slow down.
Yeah,
you have to slow down for the turns. It felt like you're in a race, and for that, theme wise, at least a 9 because it is spot on.
Yeah, I mean, as far as, if you look at all the different racing games out there, and there are a lot, this one, I think, captures the essence, and it does it in a way that it's a good introductory game to racing, but it doesn't feel like it's an introductory game because it feels like it's got all the elements of racing captured in it. So I'm right with you with a 9 on this. I think it does an outstanding job.
Yeah, I think the feel, and sometimes it's hard to describe. When we talk about theme Europe, we talk about art and things like that. But at the end of the day, theme is about that feeling you get when you play, and this was spot on.
Well, I mean, the art's good too. I mean, I love the art too.
I mean, all of it combined. I mean, it's about that gut reaction feeling. All right, now let's talk about the rule book.
So again, there's 2 rule books, and both of them are easy to read. So the first one is an 8-page rule book. It says, read this rule book first, clearly on the front, so it takes you right into it. But 2 of the pages of the 8 are the front cover, which is really pretty and matches the art on the front cover to some extent. And then on the back, it's just a kind of the credits and a little thing where you can register your board game with Days of Wonder. They always do that. And then it goes into the setup of the game. Setup is very clear. Now, there are a lot of little steps in the game. They have the icons for those steps right on your board, but it is a little cryptic. So,
yeah, because it's meant to look like different, information that you see on your car, little different.
The dashboard.
Dashboard. And it fits very thematically, but honestly, I didn't realize they were useful until later.
But yeah,
I just thought it was art.
You have to kind of understand what it's saying, and to do that, you're probably going to refer back to the rule books for the first few plays just to get it down. But it's laid out nicely. It's got a numeric system to identify where you need to find things. Tells you exactly what to do with big headers, telling you, like, if you run out of cards, what you have to do. If you hit a slipstream, check corners, all the things, all the steps. And the numbers reference are right here on your board. So if you want to know what step 5 does, you find step 5 in the rulebook, and it tells you exactly what to do. I think they've done an outstanding job to get you into the game quickly. And then to separate, I think it was a brilliant thing to separate out the advanced rules from that, so you can learn the base game, play it through, get comfortable with it, and then you go into the advanced, and it's broken into several different sections to talk about how the different modules you can play. The garage module, where you can upgrade your components in your car. I love that mode, by the way. We'll get into that in a little bit. There's Legends module, where you can race against basically an AI system of cards, which we didn't play with that, but I think that's nice if you're playing with just a few people to have other racers in the game, because it's more interesting the more racers you get. By the way, the box is set up for 8. This is a 6-player game currently. There's clearly 2 spaces empty in the box for all the cards, 2 spaces for the gear shifts, and they've got 8 spots on the track. So it's clear this is designed for.
There's an expansion coming.
There's clearly an expansion intended for this. I'm not sure how I feel about that. When it looks like it's empty, it should be there as part of the game. I don't really like when they do that, because it tells me they already had it in the process.
But it may have been in the final steps, and I would much rather have them space in the original game, so the people are going to add expansions. Yeah. It's just part of the course, and as long as the game is solid enough by itself, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I just think it would have been better with the 8 players, because you could, getting 8 people to this game would be incredible, I think. Weather and road conditions.
Have to wait and see.
Yeah, weather and road conditions. And then they have a championship, like where you can race multiple tracks in such a tournament mode. So yeah, I think they've done an outstanding job of getting you into the game quick and breaking out the add-ons, as far as what you want to do to make this more advanced. And so I'm going to go ahead and give this rule book. I'm thinking I'm going to give it a 10. I think they've done an outstanding job.
Normally, those are only for Lacerda games.
No, not Lacerda. It's more like the. I'll give them for the Aaliyah series.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
And then
Aaliyah
the ones
series.
like the CGE does a really good job.
I
on
remembered wrong.
those. Yeah, well, I like to have like a humor in the rule book, and CGE does a great job with that. There's no humor in this one, but it's laid out so well, and it introduces the game in such a way that I think it's ideal for this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to gameplay. So we're only going to go over the basic rules and then talk a little bit about some of the expansions. So basically, it's pretty. You draw 7 cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Randy, draw your 7. Now, you start in gear 1, and you have the option to move forward or back a gear. For the first time is free, but if you do the second one, you're going to end up getting some heat in your engine. Now, I am actually going to do that. I'm going to go up to 3. I'm going to spin that heat. So I'm at 3. Now, that means I have to use 3 cards that were in my hand.
And you have to take the heat out of your engine, which, you start with 6 in your engine. Now, the board actually tells you how much heat to put into your engine, so it may vary. So right now, all the boards, I think, had the same combination, but if they add more boards, there may be differences in that.
Yeah. Now, because I know that I have quite a bit of space before I hit this turn that I'm going to go down, I'm going to lay some high-value cards down. But Randy doesn't know what I'm doing. He's doing his own thing. We're playing simultaneously. And then when everyone's ready, which we are, we're going to flip over.
Well, you start in pole position, which I think I'm in pole position this time.
Correct.
So I'm going to flip my cards, and I've got a 3 and 2 pluses. Now, the pluses are blind draws off the top, so I don't know how fast I'm going to go, but I think I'm safe here because I get a long distance before I have to worry about speed. So I'm going to draw 2 off the top. And they have to have the symbol. Oh, man, there's my 5. So they have to have a symbol that looks like your speedometer on them, or else they're special cards and you have to discard them. So I have to discard that one.
You lost your 5.
Yeah, but there's a 3 and there's a 4. So I'm going to move 10 total spaces.
So one thing I do want to comment on is they do have the numbers next to the space coming up to the turn, which I thought was super useful playing because it's already counted down for you. So, and then I'm going to reveal my hand. I am 6, 9. I'm going to do 9. Now, here's the thing. So when I go to 9, I'm going to go to the inside. But I am 1 space behind him. That means I get to move 2 spaces forward, because if you're adjacent to another car or directly behind them, you have caught their wind. They have broken that resistance for you, so you're able to swoop in at the last minute and get ahead of them. So that is awesome. All right, so then you discard those 3 cards that you ended up playing. Goes in your discard pile. You fill back up your hand.
And you can discard down any cards that you want that are not. Correct. Now, there's some that have a trash can with an X symbol on them. That's your heat and your plus cards. And when you get those, you have to keep them in your hand. You can't discard. So I'm discarding those 3. I've got 1 card left, and I'm drawing back up to 7.
So I'm going to downshift to 2.
Now, we've got a curve here. It's a slight curve.
So, and it's a 7 curve. So again, I'm putting 2 of my cards down because I shifted down. I don't know what Randy's doing. You're going to stay in 3rd gear, my friend?
I think I am.
Ooh, and he's got some new cards.
Yep, so we're going to play 3.
Okay, so I'm in first. So I'm actually going to go random.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to do 2 and 1. So I'm going to go 3. 1, 2, 3. But my 3 is less than that 7. So I slowed down quite a bit, and I was fine making that turn. So, and then I'm going to discard these. Randy, what do you have for us?
I got 7.
Ooh, so he was spot on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, no one did the rip. Now, you'll keep...
now, I also have the option, since I was behind.
Oh, yes. You're right.
I could add another 1 to go over. Now, that would push me over the 7 limit. If I do, I'm going to have to take a heat for that. So I probably wouldn't in this case, but if you are in the last position, or in some cases, depending on player count, it might be the last two positions, you can add one and you can reduce your heat, discard one heat out of your hand back to your engine. In this case, I will do that.
One thing that didn't often do it because we kept forgetting about it, is that you can also boost your car. Now, after you play your 2 cards or whatever and you flip them over, you have the option of spending a heat and flipping over the next card to give you a little more push. Now, in the case where I had done the 2 wilds and had only gotten 3, that probably would have been a good time for me to push and hope that I didn't go over 7 and being able to move forward. But again, you have to have the icon just like you do when you have the pluses to be able to count.
But if you do, for some reason, go over the number, for each number that or each space you move additional beyond that number, you have to take a heat out of your pool and put it into your engine. If you run out of heat, you spin out. When that happens, you have to move before the line, and you have to add stress cards into your hand. So you may get, depending on what your level your gear shift's at, you may have to add multiple cards into your
Oh, this would be miserable.
And then those are going to be permanently cycling through your deck, so you're going to have more risky cards coming up throughout your play.
And the thing with that is it's a lot easier if you can plan having those solid numbers, just to make sure that you're going in the right direction.
Right. Plus, now you have to cross that threshold again, and some of these are really low, like 3 and 2, where you don't want to be going across that thing multiple times.
Oh, no. And you get behind on these curves, and you are behind in the game. So there was one curve that I missed. I didn't spin out, but I missed it by a hair just because I played some cards ineffectively, and I was behind the rest of the game after that. So the end of game, you continue each round until a single car spins like that. No. And they pass the finish line.
Twice.
And then, twice. Yeah, you go 2 laps. And that triggers the last round. That's it. Someone won the race. And then the winner is whoever. So you do finish the round. Everyone does get their turn. And then whoever is the most in lead at the end of the turn will win that race. So just because you pass the finish line first, because you have player count, that does not necessarily mean that you win the game, because someone could end up. Now, you can't riff somebody that's already past the finish line.
You can't slipstream at the final round past a car that's already crossing the finish line. So yeah, there are some differences in the rules on that final pass across the stretch. But all in all, I love the fact that the way that this captures the essence of racing. It gives you flexibility. It's not, you don't feel like it's a pure luck game like Formula Day where you're rolling dice. Yes, you have control about the dice that you choose, but yeah, it's a die roll. Here you're playing cards. Now you can add some luck with those plus cards, and you're putting some risk in. It's a pressure luck element that you can choose to add. You don't have to do it, although they will pool in your hand if you don't play them. Yeah. So the ones you start with, you're going to get stuck with.
Now I will say, so let's talk briefly about some of just bare minimum what the expansions kind of add. So there is, and you already mentioned this kind of when we were talking about the rule books. So there is an add-on where you can basically add weather to the element. So which can increase your speed by 1 or let some other things, different parts of the track to do different things to either give you a bonus of some sort, like a free boost or something like that. The most important one, I think, out of the expansions is the modifying your car. So basically there is a drafting where you get to pick special cards that go into your hand that allows you to kind of develop a feel for your car. And I thought that was, it's a way to give variable player powers to these decks. And I thought that was actually a great way to do
and
that.
There's 2 tiers to that. There's the basic and the advanced of those. And there's 3 kind of cards that are, each person has a 0 and a 5 and then a heat. you replace those with those upgrades so that you still have the same number of cards, but you end up with different ones from your opponents in the game. And some of they're thematically they make sense too. You have like enhanced brakes or enhanced steering or enhanced engines, different things you would typically see in any kind of a video game where you're modifying your car.
Yeah. I do think that is actually the most important expansion. I think everything else, it has a little bit of an element to it, but that's, I think, the most important expansion, and definitely the one I would play with the most, probably. Let's talk about scoring. This is by far the best racing game that I recall us ever playing. When we played it, I was like, this is a great racing game. It was high energy, being able to go, but I liked the card drafting and things like that. There's a little bit of control to it, but there's also a piece of luck as well. I thought it was a really, really great racing game. Like I said, the best that I can even recall us ever playing. I'm going to give it a 9. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not a huge fan of these kind of games, so the fact that you're giving it a 9 shows you it's impressive. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it is a 9. I think this one. I saw when they were designing it. I'm like, well, this sounds like it might be something really special. It is something special, and it's definitely worthy of the fact that it's selling out everywhere when it comes out.
The reality is now if someone says I like racing games, I'm gonna be like, I'm willing to play this one. Like this is where it's at for me. Like I feel like if we're gonna have to play one, this is the one we shall play.
And it's also, I mean, it's easy to get it out. I mean, there's section cards in the thing. It doesn't take a lot to set it up, which is nice.
Yes.
And it's it's a large board, but it's really not a table hog because you just have these little player boards that you're playing cards on, and that's all the space that's required. It's to me, it is a very accessible game. But yet it's still got a lot of nuances you can build.
Well, they included 4 different boards. They added the variable players powers. This is excellent. I think they did a great job.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast, and hopefully you'll come hang out with us again. We'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Bye.